Hello and welcome to How to Play This Is Awesome by Bear Creek Games. This is a 1 to 4 player game. It has a single mode or a tag team mode. It has a play time of about 30 to 45 minutes. It's an easy game. The Wrestling Federation is filled with unique and comical pro wrestlers, all with their eyes set on winning the championship. You are a wrestler, working your way up through the ladder through a series of matches to improve your reputation and gain a chance at the world title. First, you choose your wrestler, which comes with his own set of unique moves and abilities. We're going to be using Buster Gloves as our wrestler for this video. Your matches and opponents are randomly chosen from the decks that come with the game. They can be customized by removing cards that you don't like and adding other cards from the expansion sets. This is a competitive game where you're in a race to be the first player to win the championship. At times you'll face off head-to-head against other players. Other times you'll face off against the game itself. This is a dice and card game. You will draw two types of cards in this game. Work cards, which usually help you. They will help you win the match or gain push points and push you towards the top. Shoot cards can make you lose matches or can cost you push points. A total of 20 push points are required to automatically challenge for the world title. Push points can be gained by winning matches or through drawing work cards. Shoot cards can make you lose points as well as losing matches. All players start with 5 push points, and if you ever reach 0 push points, your wrestler is automatically retired, and you start over with a new wrestler with 5 push points. The best way to keep track of push points is to either use a D20, a notepad, some type of app, or if you've bought the deluxe version of the game, you have a push point track that goes with the game board. While it's nice to look at, it's not required to play the game. We're not going to be using it for this video. So how do you play a turn? On your turn, you draw an opponent. So Buster Gloves will be facing off against Ghost Mountain. Ghost Mountain also has his own set of moves. Most importantly, his counter move. If you have the same number of push points as one of your opponents, instead of drawing an opponent from the deck, you would face off against the other player. If 3 or 4 players in a game have the same amount of push points, they face off in an elimination match. The active player always goes first during a match. Once you have your wrestlers, then you need to draw the match. We're going to be using a standard match. Each match will have a set of win conditions that need to be accomplished before you win the match. It'll take at least 3 rounds to roll each one of these on the dice, or you may win the match by drawing a work card. So how do you roll a round? Each round is rolled with 5 dice. 6 dice come with the game because some abilities grant you an extra dice. But for the most part, you're going to be using 5 dice on your rolls. The light version of the game comes with a standard D6 set, while the deluxe version of the game comes with custom dice, which have an S for shoot, or a W for work, and an F for finishing moves. If you're using a standard dice set, you still have the 1, 2, 3. You have a 4 for F, F like 4, S like 6, or you could trace a W on the dots of the 5. So we're going to be taking out the custom dice for this demonstration. Each round you're going to get 3 rolls to complete the next step of the match. So step 1 is the setup move, 3 of a kind. Now this can be any 3 of a kind. It doesn't have to be a number. It can also be a letter. So Buster Gloves' setup move is the Omni Punch. So we're going to roll 3 dice. And let's say we're going to keep the ones. We've got a 6 and we've got a 4. We're going to re-roll these. And let's say that we got our 1. So at this point, we would add a progress token to our wrestler. And then we would begin the next round. If you are playing a head-to-head match, once you complete your round, you hand the dice to your opponent, and then they get to roll their round. If you are unsuccessful in rolling the next step on the card, then your opponents get to roll the counter of your opponent. So Buster Gloves fails to roll his finishing move. So the player to your left gets a chance to roll 3 of a kind. And if they do that on one roll, they get to decide who wins the match. If at any time you roll a pair of S's or a pair of W's, you immediately draw a card. You may draw a card that says you win. You may draw a card that says you lose. Or you may draw a card that has you either win or lose a push point. Once you've accomplished all the conditions on the card, so you roll the setup move, you roll the finisher, and then you roll the pinfall, then you would win the match. There are a number of stars at the bottom of each card. The number on the left is the number of push points you gain for winning the match. The number on the right is the number of push points you would lose for losing the match. Any player who has 20 push points at the beginning of their turn automatically gets a championship match. So Buster Gloves has 20 push points at the beginning of his next turn. He will be in a world championship match against Joe King the Just. The championship match has a setup move, a finisher, and then the finish is a 5 of a kind. If you win this match, you win the game. So it's much more difficult to roll the pin on a championship match, but you can always get help from your push point pile. In addition to hitting your setup move and your finisher move, you have a finisher ability which will aid you in getting that final pin. So for instance, Buster Gloves, after he hits his finisher and he has 2 progress tokens on his card, he now rolls with 6 dice instead of 5. That might help him get that 5 of a kind he needs to get that pinfall. So now you know how to roll matches. You know how to keep track of your points. But we've skipped a step about who goes first. Included in the box set is a Battle Royal card. This is an optional rule that can help you decide who to go first. All wrestlers start in an elimination match with an agreed upon number of opponents, and then each round you would roll to see who remains in the match. Whoever makes it the farthest gets to take the first turn. If you end up beating all the other players and the non-player wrestlers that you've added to the match, then you would get this win bonus at the bottom. So this can really give somebody a boost at the beginning of the game. What's nice about This Is Awesome is that there are mechanics in the game that allow players to catch up at any given point. So just because one player is way out ahead of everybody else, by the end of the game, most of the wrestlers are usually in the mix for that championship match. So why play this game? If you like dice rolling and you like deck building games with unique characters and customizable rules, this game is for you. It's not just for wrestling fans. The game really streamlines the match rolling process and puts a bigger focus on the long-term goal. So you can have a lot of fun with the characters who are all unique, and many of them have funny names or finishing moves. But the game doesn't take itself too seriously. It's just a platform for wrestling fans and board game fans the same. The game offers the opportunity to customize the game by taking out rules you don't like and adding cards that you do like. You'll notice that the cards do lack artwork, and they do lack a description for the names of the finishing moves. So, just because Buster Gloves has a move and it's called, one thing, that doesn't necessarily mean that it is what you think it is. So, feel free to interpret the cards the way that you like. Buster Gloves might be a 7-foot-tall monster in your mind, or he might be, a 4-foot-tall luchador. Whichever way you want to play it is up to you. This game was really designed to give you control over how you want the game to be. While the game is designed for players who are 8 years old and up, some of the content, specifically the cards in the hardcore expansion, may be better suited for more mature players. With that said, if there's a card that's in the deck which you feel is a little too edgy, you can always take it out. It's not going to upset the game. If you've got your own ideas for wrestlers or for match types, the developers of the game welcome your submissions for the game, and they would love to include it in future expansions. The game comes with a relatively low buy-in cost and allows for unlimited future expansion. So, if you want to give it a try, check out the link in the box below. Leave a comment, reach out to us, let us know what you'd like to see added to the game. Thanks for your time and enjoy This Is Awesome.